to introduce Dr. Sahana Hegde Shetia. She is a Professor and Head, Department of Public Health Dentistry at D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, Pune. And she'll speak on behavioral tobacco cessation counseling amongst transgenders of Pune city and Pimpri Chinchwad, an international study. A very unique study, looking forward to it very eagerly. Please, Dr. Shana, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes.
You are heard
Okay.
well.
Okay. So this study we did amongst the transgender community in Pune and Pimpri Chinchwad, and we have involved behavioral tobacco counseling, cessation counseling, and we followed them up, and we found out how many of them have given up the habit. Next slide.
Yes, ma'am, I'll be just doing it. Just for your information that please don't use any highlighter or pointer during your presentation.
Okay. I'm not using any.
Okay.
Okay. So it will be covered under these contents: the introduction, the review of literature, materials and methods, and then you have the discussion and the conclusion. Next slide. So what we noticed was that the transgender are a very neglected and a secretive community, very vulnerable to diseases, oral health and other general diseases. They're also stigmatized. You know, I noticed that they run away from their homes at a very young age. They live together. They identify a guru for themselves. In each of the ilakas, they have a guru, and this they owe their allegiance to the guru. They work under the guru. This is what I noticed. They do not have a stable life, and I noticed that even if they are educated, society does not allow them to live the way they want to live. They want to take up jobs, they may go start working somewhere, but then since the society does not accept them, they no longer continue with their job. I notice some of them are engineers, they are well qualified social workers, but they do not continue to work as engineers because they are not acceptable. Now, most of them were uneducated. Most of them have limited job opportunities. Now, the guru assigns the jobs to them according to the traditional occupation. And I noticed that they were either performing at rituals. Most of them were begging for alms, or they were into prostitution. Though we never went into the personal details, and they never shared it with us anyway. So because of this stigmatization, the oral health and the general health gets neglected, and majority of them consume tobacco. Next, please. There were studies which have been conducted in the past in Bhopal, in Chennai, and in the other cities of India. And it is noticed that 29.2% of them had oral mucosal lesions, and gutka chewing habit is very commonly seen. And in yet another study by Torvana et al., it was noticed that the mucosal lesions were about 19.9%. They also noticed oral submucous fibrosis, leukoplakia, which are the commonly seen pre-malignant lesions and conditions in the oral cavity. And these, if unattended, they may go on to oral cancer. And most of these are not aware of the ill effects of tobacco, and nobody talks to them about how to give up the habit or how to take care of their oral health. This is what has been noticed in the other studies. And in a scoping review, they have identified this large gap, and they have said that the LGBTQ community needs to be engaged. Community engagement should be there. They should be informed. They should be told about how to give up the habit. Next slide. A study done in Chennai city also gave us the same information that smoking cessation programs are hardly conducted for this marginalized section of the society. So here we decided to intervene. Next, please. We identified the cohort, the transgender cohort, and we provided the behavioral counseling to them, and we followed them up telephonically for cessation of their habit. Now, the sampling technique used was the snowball sampling technique used because it is otherwise not possible. We use a non-probability sampling method, otherwise it is not possible to identify them. They commonly we don't normally see them in the dental clinics. No, not do we see them at the community level. When we go out for our programs through the mobile dental clinic, we have hardly seen them. So we identified one of them, and through them we were led to the transgender guru or the chief that they have. And then this way we spread to 5 different locations in Pune and in Pimpri Chinchwad. Deve Kalewadi, Dapodi, Pimpri, Eravada, Bibewadi. And this study was done between 2019 January to March 2019, and we followed them till today. The sample size was 52, out of which we noticed that 38 were tobacco users. The sample size that we calculated was much larger, but due to feasibility issues, we could not cover that number. We collected the demographic data, the tobacco history, the FTND score for smoking, so smokeless tobacco, the trans-theoretical stage of change was recorded. We showed them a picture panel, we examined the oral cavity, we did the cleaning of the teeth. Oral prophylaxis was done through a mobile dental services, and then we counseled them. Next, please. So this was the picture panel that was shown to them. We engaged their guru, their chief, and we gave them the job of assembling all his chelas that they are called, the transgender community is called. So on a specified day and time for oral examination and counseling. It was only because of these gurus that we could, examine at least 52 of them. They were shown the short and the long-term ill effects of smoking and smokeless form of tobacco. And we followed them as I told you. Next slide, please. So we use the FTND-S and the FTND-SLT scoring criteria for them. Most of them belong to had low addiction. Some of them were in medium addiction, and some of them were highly addicted to smokeless tobacco. Most of them were contemplating on giving up the habit, and hence we intervened. Next. We provided the counseling, the behavioral counseling through the 5 A's and the 5 R's, and telephone counseling was done. Every month we followed them, though some of them would not answer the call, dropouts were there, but we tried to follow them up every month telephonically for 6 months. And urine cotinine analysis was done at the end of 6 months, though it was not possible for all. We did manage to go back to the locations and did the urine cotinine for some of them. Next, please. So the occupation, most of them are into begging or, performing at rituals. Some of them are working as priests. Maximum of them were begging. Education, some of them were even postgraduates, holding a postgraduate degree, but most of them were just completed their high school. And almost all of them used toothbrush and toothpaste for brushing their teeth. And where the habit is concerned, as I told you, most of them were not highly addicted, but of course, there were some who were addicted highly to smokeless tobacco as well. Out of the 52 participants that we had, 57.1% of them used smokeless tobacco. Some of them used both, a very small percentage, and some of them use smoke only. Next. So we did here you notice that we went to the different locations, and based on the centers or the locations, we had some of them who gave up the habit. Self-reported quitting was 21%. And when we validated with the urine cotinine, it was around 8%. And self-reported quitting at 18 months was 16%. What worked for us in this Eravada center was that the ripple effect worked. They trusted us so much. They thought the doctors have come to talk to them about the ill effects of tobacco. We showed the picture panel to them, and one of them helped the other to give up the habit. So that was very heartwarming for us. And not only that, they came back to the college for treatment as well. Through the mobile dental clinic, we provide services, tobacco cessation services or scaling of teeth, simple extractions and fillings. But then if they need extensive treatment, we normally call them to the college. So what I would like to conclude by saying that behavioral counseling does help, especially in a low resource setting like India. The vulnerable group, nobody reaches out to this vulnerable group. So if dentists could reach up to the dentists or healthcare professionals could reach up to the vulnerable groups, it would really help them. And this study has shown that it has helped them. Next slide, please. So the oral examination is being carried out in slide number 1. In the second one, where the picture panel is shown to them, they are counseled in groups. We did the group counseling. The oral prophylaxis was carried out through our mobile dental services. And I told you that, some of them even visited us at the hospital. And these are the same, these are from the Eravada center. And these are the ones who, have been influencing others to give up the habit. It is more like a buddy support, and this is what has helped us. Even from the other centers, we see some of them coming back to us to the dental hospital and getting themselves treated. The challenges that we faced here was that, following up with these was very difficult. Some of them will not answer our phone calls. And when I went for the COTI-9 test, this particular location, when I went, they were willing to give their urine, and I did the test in front of them. And when I went to the other centers or tried to go to the other center, I'm told that they're no longer living there. Probably this is why, they're called, they live secretively. And if I call up at yet another center and ask them, can I come today? They tell me, no, we are out of station, we are out on work. So it was not possible for me. Only from one center I could get the COTI-9 test done. Whereas from the other center, it was basically self-reported quitting. And some of them just wouldn't answer our phone calls. That is all. Thank you. Over to the chair.
Thank you, Dr. Sahana. As I told you, it's a very unique study, and what I liked is its robust methodology. The outcome is satisfying, definitely, the way you have done it. So best compliments for this presentation.